Okay, well, we're in business now. Sorry for the delay. Welcome, everyone. I wanted to make just one announcement about our YouTube thing. We're still working on that. I was at the Vagabond Breakfast the other morning and announced that we were going to have it. We've been working on it. It's a difficult thing, so just bear with us on that. Anyway, I'm David Schoaf, KC4X, the moderator for tonight, but in a minute we're going to have Harold's workshop. Where'd Harold go? That's not a good sign. There he is. He's still pulling hair, so he'll get to the good part of the meeting. But before we go any farther, please let's introduce ourselves. I've already done that, and this gentleman is
N4HER Harold, W1HRC Harlan, WB4QIZ Doc.
I don't have none of that stuff.
well. We're glad you're here anyway.
That's Rose.
First time. Hey, Rose and Bill, glad to have you. Thank you for coming.
W4UDB Ron,
KM4OCR Steve.
KW4UC Ken.
KW4UD,
Let's see. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
KD4MOV Jeff.
KM4RAD Jonathan.
KM4SAI Mason.
AA9AU Bob.
TV1DSR Matt. KM4WPM Ron.
Okay.
KM4LDR Scott. WA4BMC Gary.
We know who these lovely folks are back here in the back.
SII's mom and brother.
Up and coming. Okay, Jim, go ahead.
WA4NOT Jim.
K4OLD Michael.
Whiskey 4 Golf Yankee Papa Jeff. I don't know yet. Richard.
Good to have you, Richard.
Kilo 1 Papa Echo John. Jeff AC4 Wayne.
Good to see you, Tim.
KD4GFP Ed. KM4NFQ Ken.
KM4OCS Kathy.
N4VOA Paul. 84ET Bruce.
KD4DDS Martha.
Just past Matthew.
Way to go, Matthew. Nice. Last but not least.
Terry AK4D.
K4HKE Ken.
Very good.
K4OIL David.
AK4GAF
KJ4FIN Jim.
WD4OTY Bill.
W4LKN Mike.
NI4TG Sam. WA3RTC Steve.
KC4 WSK Van.
Henri
Henry W2DZO.
and a couple other rogues there in the back.
Back here.
Yeah, we'll leave them back there.
He just walked through the door.
Speaking of rogues, and you are, sir?
Don, WS4NC.
Very good. Thank you, Don. You don't really know. Let's have our treasury report from Kent. He will give it to us now.
Currently stand with a balance of $3,482.29. The only thing that we have outstanding right now is just the normal bills for Spectrum and ATT for this month. We did have a couple of new memberships tonight, so that'll prop us up just a little bit. Just a couple other things I did want to mention, that we did get a nice thank you note. Ray's not here, is he? Nice thank you note for the Samuel Morris
Special
event
event
over there.
station. Yeah.
I'll stick it up here on the board back here so everybody can read it, but it was very nice. And I do have a couple of name tags I've had for a number of months here. I've got Jim Cole, well, that's one I just made. John McKee, Andre McHugh, Jeff McKelvey, Michael Crepew, Jason Powell, Randy Thompson, and Matt Taylor. And if anybody needs a name tag, just see me after the thing and I'll get it made up and bring it to the next meeting.
Very good. Thank you. And Harlan is going to speak to us for a minute here about our Bike MS and our Aries.
Okay, as everybody knows, we've got the Bike MS this weekend, 16th and 17th. We can always use another person. I think we've got enough already, but if you want to volunteer, just let me know. We'll definitely put you to work, put you as a second person. We still would like to put an extra person with each SAG. A couple of them have that already. That way they have a navigator with them. So if you want to volunteer for that, please do. Aries operations, right now we're still in a standby mode, although Irma should not affect us at all, other than some winds tonight. But they have not stood down the standby for the IMT for the county. That's the incident management team, of which our Aries is part of. So we're still waiting to see if anything occurs. The other thing I have, if I can get Doc to come up here, I'm going to put the mic down for a second. We just purchased a banner that was approved at the last business meeting for us for Aries. I'm going to show everybody what that looks like.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, that's what the banner looks like, and we will put that up towards Tanglewood or anywhere else we go in operation now.
Nice.
And that was purchased with funds that we had received as a donation to the Aries group from the Mountain Madness group that ran the bike rally earlier this year up on Pilot Mountain that we participated in. All right, that's it. I think Harold's next, Dave.
Didn't you?
Here's your mic.
Didn't you want to mention something about it
Oh, yes.
after the meeting?
The training.
The training, yes. Use this.
Use this. After the meeting, for those that didn't attend the meeting earlier for the Tour de Tanglewood, please stay afterwards, and we're going to meet in this next room for just a few minutes at the end of this meeting. The other thing I have is, remember, next month, look at the web page. I can't remember the exact day off the top of my brain, but we're going to do a net controller course in this room for Aries Net Control for both our normal net nights, but also for emergency services nets. And this is to help give you a little bit better training and get you qualified, so when we go on large deployments, if we need to, we can operate in a 24-hour period. Real quick, I'll take 30 more seconds. If we were to have deployed for Irma this weekend, right now, let's say they called us and said we need to go down, and we open up the Incident Command Center, or the Emergency Operations Center. Our shifts are 12-hour shifts. You have to have the 4 incident command courses taken, 100, 200, 700, 800, which are going to be given in this room in November for those that don't have it. But think of the number of people we would need to run that for a 14-day period. You'd have to have at least 2 operators in there, especially if we're running 2 radios, which we have the capability of actually running 3. So we need to have several people in the EOC that have those certifications. And you're running a 12-hour shift. Just Jim and I can't do it. Because in 3 days of running 12-hour shifts or 4 days of running 12-hour shifts, you're going to be dead. So you got to have more people to be able to continually swap off. We have to go with their shift. We can't make up our own. They have their own shifts, and we have to follow what they do as our served agency. So that's where we are. So think about that. Right now, we're lucky we don't have to go there.
Carla, I have a question.
Yeah.
About the net control,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna take our Aries training in November, but can we take that class
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and it's next month?
Next month. And I can't remember the exact day. It's on a Saturday.
You had Saturday, October the 14th from 9 to 11 a.m.
That's it. 9 to 11. That's it. No, just show up. We're going to hold it here. We're going to hold about an hour worth of talk about it, and then we're going to run an hour and a half roughly of drills where everybody gets the opportunity to play. All right? Thanks, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Harlan. And again, you're going to have a little get-together afterwards
Yes.
for those who...
Didn't meet before.
Yep. Also wanted to mention that this past weekend, Mason and Caroline and Brian, and I think at least one more, worked the CQ Europe. Is that right? CQ WAE, worked all Europe. Unfortunately, we had two of the biggest flares in the last 10 years just this past weekend. So Brian, I asked Brian about it, and he said they only had 11 QSOs on Friday night, and 20 meters on Saturday was okay, but not great. And anybody that was on the air, you figured that out pretty quick, or tried to get on the air. And so sometimes these things happen. However, Brian did say that a good time was had by all, and in his opinion, the purpose of the contest is to help gain operational readiness in all sorts of conditions, and this was a very big success. So we're planning another, last weekend in October, CQWW here. Now that goes on a couple of days. Where's Don? I'm not up on my CQWW. You going to be you going to coordinate that? There you go. There's our facilitator for that contest. Encourage all of you to decide, I want to come over and work a little bit on the station. It's back there. Everything works. So let's try to do that. 250 total? Well, you guys did all right then. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. Although I did notice a few nights before that the band, and in fact last night, the band was wide open to Europe. Deep into Ukraine and all. So it just depends on when you're on, I suppose. All right, Henry, you have an announcement.
Just want to let folks
I hear.
know, right in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
We've been doing well with the computer that we have in the back to stream, but we're going to get in the process of buying a little bit heftier computer to run the stream and make these videos a little bit better for those watching them. We're going to add a second input, maybe do some close-up work. And we just, the club just got a YouTube channel, and we're a creator, it's called a creator account or something. That just means we can do more than 15 minutes. So we now have a place to put all these great videos. In fact, there was one I found from a year ago or so that we did, or a year and a half ago, we did over at Summit School. Was the antenna one where we had probably 80 people there, and I found that video. It's like 3 hours long, but we'll stick that on there too. So a couple things, and we'll bring this up at the board meeting. The first thing, we had a wonderful donation this week from a local gentleman, Ham from W1 land, who before that was from VK2 land, and he is no longer hamming, and he's in the process of moving, and he gave us a wonderful pile of equipment. A lot of it new, some of it used, barely used, but you'll hear more about that. So if you're in the market for HF amp or HF rigs or a number of meters, some 2-meter equipment, things like that, we'll have more about that. Hope the board will have some discussions about what we're going to do with it, but hopefully we'll get some of the club members involved in buying some of that and taking it home. The other thing I wanted to mention is something just on a personal note, and something I've never done, and I'm really excited about it. So hopefully if you folks need a new country in some band, I will cater to you. I have an opportunity, and I'm going to be going down to NAS Guantanamo Bay October 6th through 8th, and I just got my call, Kilo Golf 4 HH, and I'll be down there for 48 hours. So if you need Guantanamo Bay on any bands, you will get it if I can if I can get it to you. Send me an email or contact me in the next month or so, and we'll try to get that squared away. I'm excited about it. It's going to be interesting. Didn't have any real issues with Irma. And I will say hello to Rajo while I'm down there, because he's stationed down there as well. So should be an interesting one. So if you need Guantanamo Bay, we'll talk.
Thank you, sir. And that's my camping weekend. I guess I'll have to do it mobile or something. All right, a couple other things. Don, I guess all of the newsletters got taken up, so it's on the website. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a work of art. A lot of information in here. And if you didn't get one, you don't have to print it out. You can read it as a PDF on the website. It's a piece of cake, but very good. And thank you again, Don, very much. I wanted to put in just a word about this time next week. We will be meeting as the officers, and we'll be meeting as a group for the business meeting. Now, at the business meeting, we discuss the business of the club, such as the things Henry just mentioned, upgrades, downgrades, what are we going to do about Hamfest, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing we want you to know is you are all welcome to come and join us. We meet at 66 Pizza, which is just off Stratford Road behind the Village Tavern. That room will hold 55 people. And if everyone wants to show up, works for us. And we'll have a coordinated discussion. It won't be a free-for-all, but there'll be a free-for-all beforehand where we talk about all kinds of stuff, and we'll talk about all kinds of things afterwards as well. We go there about 6:30. We don't get out till about 9:30. They're ready for us to leave when we're winding things down. And the food is excellent. They have an excellent salad bar. I didn't mean to do a commercial for them, but we'd like to have all of you there. Really would. The food, yes, food is really good, and it's not all that expensive. It's not like eating at home, but then again, you don't have to fix it either. Okay, without further ado, it's time for Harold's. Harold says, no, it's not time. Well, Harold, I've burned all the time I can. You got to get this thing going here, lad.
Right, I'm starting.
Harold learned a lesson about buying stuff from the Chinese suppliers. And we've all been there. If you've bought Chinese stuff, they've gotten you somewhere along the line.
Looks good last short time.
Well, actually, they told him it was one thing, and when he got it, it was something else. The only thing it had in common was both wires were black. So it does happen. Anybody have any questions while he's finishing pulling out his hair? Okay, one moment, Kathy. What were you telling me, Henry? Good question. What happened to the lapel mic? Let's dig it up. I thought, Dale, did you want to give us a report, sir? Harold's, we're going to mic Harold up here in just a second. So.
Okay. See invisible blue line here? No clip-on mic, right?
As long as you see the light in your eyes, you're good to go.
I can't see. Thank you, Jack. Yeah. My name's Dale, WB9SZL, and a report on two things tonight. First is your VE program. Forget the acronyms, Volunteer Examiner. That's where we bring new hams and upgrade hams into the system. So tonight, I think we once again outnumbered the number of examinees with VEs. If you were here tonight, please stand up. Just want to recognize you. John, Don, Henry, some others, Bob. And Mike isn't here, but thank these folks for
As soon as he turns that mic off.
Thanks again, folks. Also in that area, we have Matthew, Charles, did I miss here? Scott, that I think they're here. Stand up, please. You passed your exam tonight, either for the first time or an upgrade. So, congratulations, folks. We hope to see you on the air soon after you visit Mike's shop and able to get a $2,000 transceiver or whatever's in your budget. Technical report, I'll be short. All the repeaters seem to be up and working. 6.4 still has the interference problem. We'll see what we can do on that, either temporarily or permanently this week to help Harlan with the Tour de Tango, excuse me. voice is going out. The Echolink nodes are running. Interference issues on one. We're taking care of that offline, so please bear with us if you hear it. If you do hear some jamming, please take note of the time window. Send me an email, and if you happen to and get a beam heading, let us please appreciate it. We want to try to keep the repeaters clean. It's unintentional, it's not, and those are the ones that we're concerned with. The Echolink nodes, for those of you that are new, 146.64 machine. One's at my house for the 145.47 machine. In English, what that does, it allows your HT or anything, any mobile in the area, to access anywhere in the world via the Echolink node and the repeaters. And speaking of which, the repeaters will probably be doing some fine-tuning on them. A busy week here for Harlan for the tour to Tanglewood to make sure we can get in some of those nooks and crannies like Lake Tomelek, some other. If you hear us out there testing and we ask for a report, appreciate if you can let us know, other than saying, can you hear me now, or something to that effect. So thanks for your patience, folks. We appreciate you being here, and if you have any questions, feel free to let us know, either now or offline. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now how do I turn this on? It's on. Good. Good evening, folks. The project for tonight is we're going to build antennas. I'm out of the beam. The antenna that you're looking at is a 2-meter portable antenna. It's tuned for about 146.5, and it's designed to be used as a fox hunt antenna. Basically, what we can use it for is finding interference. If you got a station that's causing interference and you want to see where it's coming from, with your HT and the antenna, you can kind of get a directional bearing on it. The other thing is hunting for hidden transmitters or fox hunting. It's a fairly simple little antenna. I've tried to make it as simple as possible to do. Here is an instruction sheet. If you'll take one of these and pass them around, there are some brochures up here that explains the antenna I chose to build. Basically, that's 2 pages of instruction, and all the parts are up here. I'm going to go through the things you need to know how to do, and then I'm going to turn you loose. You're on your own. I'll be here to answer questions, but anyway, I want to show you this. This is the deluxe model, by the way. You're going to build a standard model. And I want you to figure out what the difference between the deluxe and the standard is. I left this tied up, show you that you can put a rubber band around these, fold them up, and carry it without poking somebody in the eye. Once you get it all, that's the antenna. Fairly simple. I'll go through the instructions. I want to show you how to use some of the equipment here, and then you get your chance. Let's see if I can do it. What I'm trying to do is trying to aim this antenna at the transmitter that Gene has in the back room and let you see the signal. I caught the cord. Come up and down on the S meter. What Terry put up on the website for us and Don in the newsletter was that if you had a handheld, the connector that comes off the antenna fits a BNC. You can get a little adapter that will fit on your unit here. it's still staying at full strength. Turn her back up, Jane. It is a little directional in there, but interference, you'd see it on your S meter, and I can hear more static as I turn it this way, and then it drops off. Now, if I turn the squelch all the way off, we're going to hear static come in as the signal drops away. But basically, let's get this one. But you see, when I'm pointing away from it, it does drop, and that's how you use it. Thank you, Gene. Okay, remember, this is the deluxe model. This is also the prototype. Let's get back to the instructions. Oops. Okay, basically, I kind of broke it into 3 sections. Build a boom, cut the elements, then assemble the antenna. Build a boom. I've got the parts list on there. I've started some of these, so if anybody wants to use the ones I've started, feel free to do so. But basically, you get the boom, two crosses and a T. Now what I said in there is when you push this on, get it down as tight as you can. Since this is a dry fitted pipe, it won't go down very easy. So I just drive it in like that. That gets it so that the pipe is all the way into the seat on that. Then you pick up 2 of the T's. Some of the T's have a little casting spur on it. You'd want that when you put it in the drill thing to be down in the drill jig. So you just slide it on, and I have drilled out one side so they'll slide over it. If you put it on wrong, it won't slide on. You slide it on like this. This needs to be about 12 inches at about 8 inches further. That's what we're doing in there. This is a drill jig. You just raise this up a little bit. Take out what's in here. That's one that I've already done. You slide this in, and there's grooves in here where these pieces go. And when you get them in that, it will close up nicely. Okay, and then the next thing it says do is clamp these down because the board warped a little bit on me. Then you start with a drill. There's guides on here. You just put it in there. We're going to quit with that one because you don't need to stand and watch me drill. There's a hole that secures this to the pipe. 2 holes here, 2 holes here. Put one of these screws in it, each hole, to screw it down. Phillips screwdriver, there's a few laying up here and some people brought them. And that completes the boom. You're ready to go with the rest of it. The next thing you do is you need to cut your antenna elements. This is the cutter right here. That's the punch back there. There is a little stop on here that will let you cut pieces to length. All you have to do is lift it up, and there's holes with a pin that it goes in. Sets the length so you can't get it wrong, like this. Slide it back here. You come over here, you start with a section of a tape measure. When you start this, get together in groups of 3 to cut the stuff, because one tape, which is 33 feet long, will do 3 antennas. You know, that way we conserve as much of it as we can. This one has already been cut. First thing you do in a new tape is take the tape out of the tape measure, throw the housing away. Then you take and cut off the end, square the end, and you put it in the cutter like this. Let me get back to my Okay, now, again, and 2 people doing this will help. Yeah. All we need to do is just hold that up, Harlan, so that it's straight away. You see this, and you bring the handle over. There's a reflector. Now, at this point, be very careful with these things, because these ends are very sharp right now. They got sharp corners on them, and you can get cut. There's some safety glasses there if somebody doesn't have glasses and they want to put something on to protect themselves. There's 2 of them that have been used. There's some alcohol wipes in here to clean them with. The rest of them are new. The other one over here, the stop, this stop is for cutting the driven elements. You need 2 of those. And if you do it in groups of 3, you can cut like 3 directors, 3 reflectors, and then the 6 driven elements. And you come out with the pieces like this. Next thing we have to do is we have to punch holes in this of where we're going to mount it to the shaft. The punch is set up the same way. This is the punch end. And then here's the stop. Now this one is a little different. In it, it's got 3 sets of color-coded holes. That's fine. We start with the the reflector. It goes in like this. You push it against the stop, hold it against the back. And see, it has a nice little hole in it. But we need 2 of them to mount it. So what you do is you move it to the next hole, like this. I push this thing back to get it out of the way. We've got the director, and the holes have been punched. The driven elements, the red holes are for this. Okay, that's got those punched. Now you'll have the other ones, but you've got your elements ready. What you need to do now is to trim these corners off. You come over to this little device, you put it in like so, and I don't have the camera on this, but anyway, this is a corner rounder. Yeah, not a quarter pounder. But see what it does?
Now you're not going to poke at any eyes.
See, it cuts the corners off, and you do it all the way around, like this, on each element. Now, that piece that fell on the floor is the next thing we want to pick up. This piece of pipe, You put the end on it like this, and you take the sanding block, and you go at these sharp corners, and that keeps it stiff so you can kind of deburr them like that. And then the one that's got the sandpaper wrapped around it, you just put it on the other side like that where it curves. Last thing you need to do is on the driven elements, this end needs to have the paint removed so we can make good electrical contact. That's what this little device is for. Right here. Clamp it down like that, and you get your shoe shine rag. And you just start like this. It'll remove a good part of the paint, and then maybe you, where it's stubborn, you see, it's now good and clean. So that, after you've deburred all of the elements and everything, and you have your elements, then you're ready to assemble the antenna. What you do is you come over here, and in the parts list, I had the quantity of things you need. You know, your screws. This is a hairpin, will become a hairpin, and then you have a cable. Now, when you get ready to put these on the piece like this, where you're going to put on, like the director, it'll go across, and you'll go through the holes and screw it down like that. What I want you to do is take two of these little flat washers and put one on each end underneath the screw, because it keeps this antenna from the tape from flattening out so much. You screw that down. Once you're done, yeah.
Do those washers go on top of the antenna or under it?
Underneath, between the boom and the element. Okay. Then after you get done with all of that, you take this little guy, you just kind of find the center, and you bend it into a U shape like that. And then you take this, you take two of these, one under each screw. This is a star washer. And what you'll do is you'll take the cable, put the screw through one of these, then through the hairpin, and a star underneath it, and that driven element. You'll notice that there's an extra set of holes in here, where on the inside, right here, this will be screwed down like that. That's all there is to it. The last thing you need to do is, after you get all this done, put a cable tie around this to take the strain off. And what I said do about that is, when you get ready to put this down, I lost it. No, here it is. Cable ties are up here. Your cable will be on here like this. Come back the bigger part of the cable. Put this thank you, sir. Put this under here, and then pull it down like that. And once you get it like that, you take this little tool, you put it in here, and you squeeze until it cuts the cable off. That puts the right amount of pressure on this so you don't flatten your cable out. The antenna's done, then you test it. So I know there's a lot of questions, but I'm here to answer them. Basically, it's going to take a while for all this to get done. Some of you, I'd suggest go for the booms. Some of you go for the elements, and then come back to the desk. There's 3 screwdrivers here. Other people have brought screwdrivers. Please don't lose this one. I've had that since 1970. Came with my first.
That's pretty new. That's not.
Yeah, I know. That came with my first Toyota Land Cruiser. And I ended up keeping the tool kit. And that has been one useful screwdriver. So, any more questions or any questions? Or are you ready to jump in? Now, pardon?
Can we set up an assembly line?
Well, it's up to you. I need to finish.
How many people do we have tonight? Like 80? 90?
If we run out of parts, I will get more parts. So if you came here tonight and we run out, then I will get more parts. All of this is at no cost to you. It's paid for. If you want to make a donation, throw it in the kitty. All the proceeds go to the club. One of the things I would like to do later on with this is, once I test all of this on you folks, is I want to take it over to the scout troop that Jeff supports and let the scouts make them. And then later on, I'd like to put together a walking fox hunt out at Tanglewood so the boys can qualify part of their merit badge.
Carol, can these be used for satellites? I know you probably can't get to send and
Well,
receive, but I mean, just hearing the.
Yeah, what is it? We transmit up on 2 meters and receive on 440?
I think that's what it is.
So this is a 2 meter side, but now this also, the SWR, I got it down to like 1 to 1, 1.1 to 1, or 1.2 to 1, in the range of 146 to 147 and a half, which is where most of you, if you're using the the 4.7 repeater, you're at the right impedance for transmitting.
Somebody wants to contact me afterwards. I know I've seen it before more than a year ago. Software to calculate what the length of element should be for the particular frequency.
Yeah, I've got a.
Recalculate them for the satellite downlink.
Yeah. I've got a page up here that says how to build a Yagi, and it has all the formulas right there. But let me go back to the sheet. One thing I would like, Terry, is it possible that we can put these two files, a couple files up on the server that they can go to? The Word document. That link at the top of the Word document is this printout. He's got some other information there on the site. I did a search on tape measure antennas, and that's how I found it. 2 meter tape measure antennas. And a lot of other stuff that I've searched for is fox hunting. Now, later on, we'll do another program where we talk about the specifics of fox hunting. And I've got a couple more items that I'm working on that are designed for fox hunting that we may want to try to do. Little simple attenuators so that we can cut the signal down when it's real strong, and another form of direction finder.
Harold, how many tape measures do you have roughly if each want to build that many antennas?
I've got enough for probably 50 antennas. Yeah.
Is there any way that you can set the reflector length and just cut reflectors off of each one of them?
Yeah, I mean, we could set it and they can walk through and everybody cut that element and then move it and cut the next one. Yeah. But that's why I said get together in the groups of 3. Here's a bucket. I've got some other ones in the box up there, but I think I bought 15. And there's different pieces. See, I pulled one out and tore it apart, so that's a full section right there. But be careful taking these things apart, because if it gets away from you, that element, that tape sliding through your hand will cut, and I can show you the cuts. But again, these corners, be careful until you trim and round them, and it'll do that on you. There are some elements when I was checking this, so there's some that are already cut. Again, the idea when you use the cutter is to hold it back against the guide so it's parallel. And the same when you do the punching. Okay, go to it. Start. Oh, remember, this is the deluxe model. Pardon? That's that grip you can get 2 of them for $5 at Walmart.
Marcia, getting up. Marcia, getting up. Look out of your way here. Where did you teach? That was excellent.
Thank you.
Where'd you teach? You've taught before. You've taught before.
I was an instructor in the service, and I taught 7 years over at Forsyth Tech.
That was good. I'm not going to do it. I admire their teaching skill.
Here's one that's already done if somebody wants that.
Christmas.
Okay. Like this one. Yeah, just tap it down.
It's going to go, I guess. Okay.
Now it'll go further. Here.
Well, okay. Go that way. Give it a good whack. All right.
But if you got somebody to work with you to help you with your hand line,
Okay. See when it goes in?
you want to get it?
Yes, but not yet. I've got to find a lot more.
Put it in here. Put this in.
Basic information I've got to get.